Welcome back to True Information Network, where we pull back the curtain on the world's biggest events, the ones that look simple on the surface but hide massive consequences underneath. Please subscribe the channel to stay informed. Today, we're turning our attention to one of the most significant moves in global diplomacy of 2025, Donald Trump's upcoming visit to China. On the surface, it sounds straightforward. A trip, a handshake, maybe a trade deal. But behind the scenes, a chess game with high stakes, tariffs, technology, rare minerals, Taiwan, and the future of American power. Stay with me. By the end of this video, you'll see not just what happens next, but why it matters for your job, your wallet, and the world you live in. The invitation that caught everyone off guard. It started with a headline. Trump says he will visit China early next year after invitation from Beijing. What's unusual is who's doing the inviting. China, not the US State Department. Normally, such state visits are announced months in advance, accompanied by fanfare, press conferences, detailed agendas. Not this time. China's move signals something deeper. It is inviting the US to narrate part of its story. And Trump accepting isn't just a photo shoot, it's part of a much larger strategy. Here's what we know. Trump told reporters he had been invited and will be doing that sometime fairly early next year. He still plans to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping on the sidelines of the upcoming APEC summit. At the same time, he floated tariffs of up to 155% on Chinese goods if a deal isn't reached. This mix of invitation plus threat reveals two truths. China wants negotiation on its terms, and the US is under pressure with little margin to slip. Visualize this. Two giant waves converging. One of America's economic uncertainty, the other of China's strategic tightening. The collision could reshape the global era. A history of trade wars and broken promises. To understand this moment, we must rewind decades. In 2018, the first Trump administration launched tariffs on China worth hundreds of billions. China retaliated, global supply chains trembled. Under the current administration, export controls and rare earth restrictions now enter the equation. China dominates over 90% of refining capacity for rare earth magnets, used in everything from smartphones to missiles. Now add this. Trump, ahead of his visit, is preparing to impose massive levies and export controls. The trade war isn't just about goods anymore. It's about control of technology, minerals, and influence. You may ask, why does this affect you? Because when China controls raw materials and the US pays the highest tariffs, prices rise. Your phone, your car, your electricity, all could feel the ripple. The agenda. What's on the table? So what exactly will Trump ask China to do? And conversely, what will China insist on? US demands likely include China to buy more American farm products, like soybeans, and open markets. China to lift restrictions on rare earth exports and magnets. China to reduce tariffs on US goods and stop abusing intellectual property. China's counterposition. They want the US to reduce tariffs or threat of tariffs. Prefer stable relations with the US as it still buys their exports. Now visualize the high stakes. Trump wants a deal to claim victory and strengthen his image. China wants a deal to reduce risk and retain dominance. But both know the alternative is worse. A failure could trigger decoupling, global supply chains permanently shifting. The US losing its leverage. Taiwan, tech, and the hidden flashpoints beyond trade. There are hidden hotspots. Taiwan is one of them. China has never ruled out force to bring Taiwan under its control. Trump told reporters he believed China doesn't want to invade. Yet behind the public calm, Chinese export controls on rare earths and magnets, US retaliatory tariffs and export bans, a looming meeting where status, symbolism, and deals mix. Imagine, while Trump lands in China, behind closed doors, the question might be, will the US soften its stance on Taiwan in return for trade? The stakes: national security, tech supremacy, global alliances. What happens next, and why you should care? We've mapped the invitation, the history, the agenda, and the flashpoints. Now let's ask, what could this lead to? Scenario A Trump-China breakthrough deal. Tariffs lowered, China agrees to buy US goods, rare earth supply chains shift. US economic boost, Trump claims victory. China gains concessions on technology access. Scenario B, no deal and ramped escalation. US imposes 155% tariffs. China tightens export controls and forms new alliances. Global economy takes hit, supply chains shift, and prices for consumers rise. Which scenario affects you? Your job and manufacturing base. Prices of everyday goods. The strength of the dollar and value of your savings. Here's the truth. This isn't just about one visit. It's about the decline of American leverage. It's about China building a backup plan. It's about the world order shifting while most of us watch Netflix. So I'll ask you now, will Trump come home with a deal worth remembering, or a defeat you underestimated? Comment your prediction below. If you want to stay ahead of these stories before the mass media wakes up, hit subscribe, hit the bell icon, and join True Information Network, because the next decade may belong to someone else. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in our next deep dive.